Hello, I want to talk to you today about dealing with feedback on your writing. Feedback is really important for writers, but it can be difficult to take. Writing's quite a personal thing. Even quite factual writing is a personal thing. We put a lot of ourselves into our writing, and so when we get feedback, if it includes some critique, which it should do, it can feel like critique of ourselves. So even when we're really experienced writers, I've written a bunch of books and feedback can still pack a punch. Here are some examples of the feedback I've received on manuscripts and proposals. Here's one. This will provide insufficient information to be useful. Here's another. It is a bit thin and not complex enough to add anything new. And a third. The writing style is stiff. Now, none of those were nice to read. All of them were helpful. So what I would suggest is that you try to get feedback in writing well ahead of any meeting you may have to discuss the feedback, so that you have time to read and digest and to respond if you need to, in whatever way. Now, when I say respond, I don't mean reply. I mean respond yourself. You may need to shout or cry or eat chocolate or talk to a friend or go for a walk, doesn't matter what it is, to help you deal with the emotional component of the feedback, so that then you can get to the intellectual work that you need to do with that feedback for your writing. Any feedback you receive on your writing should include three things: information about what you're doing well, information about what needs improvement, and information about how you can make that improvement or those improvements. Some people giving feedback only include what needs improvement. Nothing about what you're doing well, nothing about how that improvement can be made. That doesn't mean your writing is poor, it means the feedback is poor quality. If any of those three elements are missing, ask for them to be included. Go back to the person giving the feedback and say, thank you for your time and effort, this is really helpful, but I also need to know the missing bit. It's equally unhelpful if someone just says, oh, it's marvellous, it's wonderful. You know, nobody's writing is that wonderful that it can't be improved. Even published books have room for improvement. Virtually all of them do. If there's something in your feedback that you don't understand, again, that doesn't mean you're stupid, it means probably poorly expressed feedback, so ask for clarification to make sure that you know what the person giving the feedback is trying to tell you. This is perhaps particularly important for people who are writing in a language that's not your first language, because then you're reading feedback in a language that's not your first language, and it can be sometimes more difficult to understand with that increased layer of complexity. Don't be ashamed about asking for clarification. It should help the person giving the feedback to understand how to give feedback better another time, though perhaps it's not exactly tactful to point that out. So once you have all of the feedback that you need and you're clear about what it says, you can sort it into three categories. Some of the feedback will be an absolute no-brainer. You're totally going to act on that piece of feedback. It makes perfect sense. Could be anything from this word isn't spelled correctly, to the structure here needs attention, to I'm not clear what you're saying in this part of the text. You think, okay, I need to spell that word correctly, I need to sort out the structure, I need to clarify that section. The second category is the no thanks category. No, I'm not going to act on that. Maybe the person giving the feedback has missed the point you're trying to make and just completely misunderstood a section or a paragraph or a sentence, and they're suggesting something that totally doesn't fit. You can decide that. You're the author. You don't have to do what they're saying just because they're giving feedback and maybe they know more than you do, or maybe they don't. Then the third category is the oh wait, where the feedback is probably not something you're going to act on exactly as the person giving feedback suggests, but it points out to you something where you realise you need to make a change in your writing that's different from what's suggested but will improve your work. So sort the feedback into those three categories, then figure out what you need to do with the no-brainers and the oh waits, and do that work. It can be helpful to do it as a table. Set it out as a table with each piece of feedback, 3 columns for the 3 categories, and what you plan to do in response to each piece of feedback in whichever category it fits. All writers need constructive criticism. It helps us improve our writing like nothing else does. If someone's taken the time to engage with your work and give you careful, thorough feedback, that's an immense gift. It doesn't always feel like it, particularly at first. But ultimately, I know that my own work is so vastly improved by the input of people who never get any credit. I'm glad to be able to do that for other writers of books when publishers ask me to give feedback on manuscripts, because I know how much I value someone who bothers to take the time to really help me make my work better, even though it's my name on the work, not theirs. Good luck.